Hi, my name is Julie. I've been living in Quebec City, Canada for 8 years now.
Hey, I'm Jeremiah Ellis. I'm from the Edmonton, Alberta, Canada Amplify team.
Hi folks, I'm Martina and I live in Florence, Italy.
My civic engagement began in 2018 when I had the chance to join a really great event in Bonn, the SDGs Festival of Global Action. So when I came back in Quebec City, I wanted to make a difference and just try to do something with other people.
My activism started when I was at the high school, I think, and it starts with the stickers. Oxfam Italia. These stickers was given by my tutor, Claudia Maffei. She opened my eyes. She told me how the activism can change the life of the person and change the life of the world, entire world.
My activism journey began in high school when I went to a camp called Ryla, and it really sparked a desire to be a human rights activist as a vocation, and we kind of learned that young people are capable of taking action, taking things into their own hands.
Amplify Youth Voices was a 2-year Transatlantic project that ran from 2019 to 2021. Our goal? To find solutions to gender inequality, climate change, and violent extremism. We were spread out across 11 cities and 2 digital regions in Canada and Europe. Together, we have worked to build sustainable alliances and innovate for social change. Folks involved in the Amplify project have been very busy and proactive throughout the different steps of the journey. The first step was to meet in Berlin. Here we determined the foundation of our project together in what we called an Inception workshop. During this workshop, youth facilitators and organization coordinators met before starting the work with all the youth of the project. Then, we started to work locally in our own cities. This was the first phase of what we called the labs. In the labs, we brainstormed, exchanged, and worked on choosing which theme and specific issue we would work on and tackle at a city level.
We've spent the weekend examining how climate change affects young people here in our city.
We need some more diversity in the environmental field, and it's time to put some new voices in there.
We'll see what we can do.
After this, it was important to deep dive further into the issue in order to organize future meaningful collective actions. So each city started to do research with a rigorous methodology. This is what we called our youth-led research. Moving from a local to a global scale, the next step was the Transatlantic Youth Dialogue. This is where folks from all the participating cities met in Montreal in order to connect, exchange, and build new alliances. We had the chance to learn about what the other cities were working on and to brainstorm on solutions and new ideas together.
I haven't heard of that many opportunities really where you can get so many people from different countries and backgrounds all in the same room together for 4 days and just really sit down and talk and learn from each other.
Someone asked me why I decided to take part to the Amplify Youth Voices project. I always think about the opportunities to know more and different cultures. Another reason is for sure the 3 big themes of Amplify Youth Voices. Violent extremism, climate change, and gender equality are the main theme of these years.
It was a great starting point to see how it is in our city and how young people can act on the scale.
I was really interested in joining Amplify Youth Voices because I really like the idea of co-creating a space together. Building a non-hierarchical, non-competitive space together. The idea of building a community together, building relationships and putting those at the forefront of everything. It's really interesting how that can create such a strong foundation for creating a very unique and powerful project.
It was a great opportunity to meet other people from Canada and from Europe.
it definitely gave me room to sort of like experiment and like gradually find my voice again.
About my research, yes. Indeed, I've discovered so many bad things about the fast fashion that I have stopped to buy at the fast fashion industry. This is the biggest impact of Amplify for sure.
When we came back to our cities after the Transatlantic dialogue, we continued the work. We did a second round of local labs in order to plan the final step, collective actions. After months of research, exploration, and discussions, it was time to pass to tangible action. In our cities, we gathered and organized our ideas to promote specific solutions to climate change, gender inequality, and violent extremism. The results of these collective actions have been quite impressive. Great ideas and actions were just blooming. Whether folks did videos, social media campaigns, zines, online dialogue events, Activism, op-ed letters, nature exploration and workshops, we, as young people, nailed it on what it means to be engaged and act on a local scale to change a piece of this world on a global level. Finally, while all these actions were taking place, we decided to do a short documentary about the visible and invisible impacts of this whole project. Thus, a group of 8 young people came together and worked in what we call the creative team on this very documentary you're watching right now. The voice you're hearing is mine, Jamie, and I've been a part of the creative team and of course the whole Amplify journey. It has been an adventure getting to know so many incredible and passionate people in my city and from afar. I'm going to pass the mic back to the 3 protagonists as they still have a lot to share with you. Stay tuned.
I have a special question for my mates, Julie and Jeremiah. I wanted to know how the situation is in your city for youth. So which are the problems that youth have to face every day?
Kind of like a general frustration and even like disillusion towards the way political institutions are kind of operating right now. A lot of young people don't feel that their kind of needs, concerns, and their identities are kind of being valued and heard by government institutions right now. There's a growing disconnect between young people and government and democracy in general. These concerns, which, whether they're affecting like our future, our society, our day-to-day lives in general, a fear of what's going to happen, or concerns for your own safety in some cases. I think a lot of young people are just like fed up, I think, with the way things are going right now.
During the COVID pandemic, it's not easy for young people to connect, to have a social life, to see friends, family, and it affects a lot the psychological conditions. It would take several months and years for young people to recover from this crisis.
So I guess the question I have for both of you is, what's been something you've struggled with on your activist journey as a young person living in today's world?
About sustainable development, about sustainable mobility in my own city, I know that there are different perspectives, of course, but sometimes I think that there is a consensus and I don't necessarily take the space as I should. You think that everyone shares the same perspectives, and it's not the case. I want to express my voice, but it takes strength and courage, of course. As a young mother, it was not always easy to take part in one more project because we had the life at home, the professional environment. Civic engagement is not always easy. Sometimes we have less energy, I can say.
The most difficult thing I have to face is to deal with reality, I think, because we are very full of ideas, so open-minded that and creative that it's possible to have a bigger idea than what we could really do.
A question that I can ask you, Jeremiah and Martina, is did the Amplify journey inspire you to create other initiatives in your city or other projects that you would like to share with us?
My Amplify journey has inspired me in so many ways that I want to keep my activism journey in my city. What I can do, I will do.
In the kind of work that I do, I kind of want to like carry those values with me and hopefully like create and like hold space for others where they can come into a project or space and kind of like feel seen and heard and validated, and that like their identities and the talents and gifts that they bring to the table, those are also validated as well.
I would really like to see corporations being held to account, because they're just really not, and I think people aren't aware of the extent to which they are responsible for a lot of the
We don't have any hope in the government, or we don't have any hope in the youngsters and like job places. But indeed, what I perceived from these past days, it has been that there are positive examples.
The one small change I want in the world is just for everyone to just be kind and be more patient with each other, and recognize that we have our differences, but at the end of the day, there are ways to figure out how to work together, and just be kind to each other and be patient.
I would love to see people take more of an appreciative inquiry approach. I find everyone wants to react to each other, and they react in a way that always thinks the negative and the worst intentions of people.
I feel at times, we're separated by the sea, we're different continents, we have different lived realities, but the challenge that's facing us is one that transcends borders, and we need to be able to work together, share best practices, and learn from how other people are impacted on this earth, just to increase that humanity and increase that link we feel, and that we're not so distant, and that we can all create solutions.
I couldn't say it better than that. When you want to be part of a change, or when you want to change something, that there are like different aspects of it. There could be like the educational aspect, then like to be really active, to do something, to provoke, to show, just to talk. And I think it's really important that we come together and really exchange, so that it's really happening. And at the moment, it doesn't feel like we're doing, or like it's like activism, or it's something really effective, but it is.
Because it's one thing that we're very young and we will have to live with this our whole life. We don't know what will happen in 30 years, 40 years, but it doesn't look great.
All part of this world, and all of these issues affect us. And I know that a lot of people talk about youth being the future, but I believe that youth are the present, they're today, and a lot of these issues we're already seeing the impacts every day in our own lives.
I think it's really important for us to be involved. At this point, there isn't time to wait around and be complacent about issues anymore, but I also do think it's important to have older generations involved as well. And I think an intergenerational discussion is important, because we all share this earth and we all should be taking care of it for our generations to come.
I just believe it's really important to engage with your surroundings and the world you live in. And I know that today it's particularly hard, I think, especially as there are so many distractions everywhere. Like, it's really easy to get carried away with your own personal life, your own issues and your own microcosm. Yeah, I think it's just important to engage.
Power always exists. So when you decide not to use your own personal power, you just let other people use it. So if you don't do nothing, it's really not in your best interest and not in society best interest. Everyone can contribute something to the common good, everyone.
Youth activism is everything. Is what matters, is what can make the difference in this world. And it is important for youth to get involved in causes, because, I'm here in this world and I should make the difference. I have to make the difference for everyone here.
It takes strength and even courage and energy. So it's really important for young people to be engaged in some activities that they care about with other young people, and to to pass their message like this, and even to change the status quo.
I think youth activism is so important because a lot of voices aren't heard. I think that can be very disheartening. It can induce a lot of cynicism. The idea of youth activism, it's kind of like going against that. Like, it's saying, we as young people, we've had enough. We're not going to tolerate this anymore. We have voices, we have power, and we can organize together separately, even if that means outside the institution. We can co-create spaces together where everyone's identities, skill sets are included and valued. It's only when we do that is that when we can actually accomplish change.
Amplify! Amplify!
Amplify!
Youth voices!
I'm here, and it's fantastic. Wait a second, having a good time. Aspetta. Giovanni! 2, 1, via! Vai! 1.